Hello, my name's Phil Rice. Thanks for tuning into this session where I'm going to share with you some of my experiences of what I've seen as best practice workplace safety contractor management. And I'd like to start by taking you back in time. It was 2011 and I was deep in the basement of the Intercontinental Hotel on Collins Street in Melbourne, nervously watching as Andrew, the quite stressed chief engineer, frantically ransacked a bookcase of lever arch files looking for a critical safety document. We were in the midst of an external safety audit and questions were coming thick and fast on contractor management. Was that electrician we just saw licensed? Where was the induction record for the plumber that completed those works last week? Had the contractors cleaning the grease trap provided safe work documentation on how they'd access confined spaces safely? Now, this engineer knew his building inside and out. He knew every contractor by name and he could talk through any job they were completing to the minutest detail. And it was becoming apparent that the complexity and the time-consuming nature of the technical aspects of workplace safety contractor management were testing even the seasoned operator. And this was a concern for me. As a risk management practitioner supporting the hotel as part of a multi-state portfolio, workplace safety aspects of contractor management were on my risk radar for several reasons. Primarily, of course, workplace safety risk, having third parties completing high-risk tasks on site, but also vicarious legal and reputation risk, whether to be a serious incident, and whether you're a safety professional, someone tasked with contractor management in addition to other responsibilities, or someone with wider managerial or executive responsibility for a business, you've probably seen that Andrew isn't alone in facing these challenges associated with contractor management. The safety aspects are complicated. They're not prescriptively detailed in regulations or legislation. Case law is difficult to find and hard to understand. Specifics and technicalities of professions and trades can often be beyond our understanding. After all, that's what we engage the contractors for in the first place, right? With now over 10 years working in workplace safety and risk management as a multi-state risk manager in the commercial hotel sector, and also being a company director and business owner in the beverage packaging industry, I've accumulated a lot of knowledge about contractor management, liabilities, the expectations of regulators, and what good and bad contractor management can look like. Most simply, I understand that when we're talking about workplace safety contractor management, there's a very delicate balance between fulfilling our reasonably practicable workplace safety obligations to not overstepping into areas outside of our expertise. It was this understanding and experience and seeing countless people like Andrew grapple with the uncompromising and complex demands of workplace safety contractor management that propelled me to create a business to help people do this better. Contractor-HQ. This business and its tailor-made software solutions are founded on the best practices of workplace safety contractor management. And it's those best practices that I'd like to share with you today. Firstly, a register of contractors. The cornerstone of good contractor management starts with identifying which contractors you're engaging and what tasks or work they're being engaged for. And for any businesses that you're yet to engage, a pre-vetting process where you contact some of their existing customers to reference check their performance, specifically around safety and safety practices, is a great way to establish preferred suppliers. You can then use this information to create your register of contractors and maintain this either in a lever arch file, like Andrew was doing in 2011, or use a software solution, like our Contractor Manage product, to manage this digitally. Secondly, create a definition of requirements based on the work to be conducted. As you probably know, different tasks require different permits, licenses, and safe work documentation. Building out your register of contractors so it specifies what work requires safe work documentation, what insurances are needed, what types of businesses need to provide specific licenses, and which individuals need to provide permits or qualifications, sets the benchmark for what your contractor management process should optimally be achieving and maintaining. This can be created based on your own experience, knowledge, and research, or by engaging a qualified third party, or otherwise using a digital software solution that's relevant to your jurisdiction. At Contractor-HQ, we break this down by the types of activities that a contractor will be conducting. and then the system guides what the business and individuals are required to provide. Now, we need to establish a system to maintain documentation effectively. So you now have a register of contractors and you've mapped out what documentation you require from each vendor. It's simply a matter of then obtaining this documentation, noting which ones have expiry, and then filing it away. Well, maybe not so simple, as I witnessed from Andrew's frantic foraging that day in 2011. You may be chasing 10 or more documents from some companies. Insurance certificates all expire and often at different times. Permits and licenses can be valid for 12 months, 2, 5 years or more. A clear filing structure is important, as is an effective means of knowing when documents are expiring and being diligent with chasing up new ones. And this can be a real time waster. Emails, follow-ups, reminders. But if you get it wrong, you risk engaging an unlicensed electrician or having someone in your business doing work who potentially doesn't have public liability insurance. Significant risks. And this is where digital contractor management systems are a clear winner in my opinion. As an example, our contractor managed system only requires you to set up the business, the key contact, and the type of works that are being conducted. The supplier then receives automated notifications advising what documents are required. That supplier then adds in their own staff members, and those staff members then upload their own permits and qualifications. You just review and either approve or reject the documentation when it's been submitted. And chase-ups? Well, of course, the system automatically follows up any expiring documentation and advises that supplier that they are required to upload more. You can even choose how assertive this follow-up is. Maybe just a gentle nudge, or demand attention using Mad Dog mode. All documentation is housed under the supplier for easy access and can be downloaded for archiving and backup. Now, also important is creating and consistently delivering a site induction. You likely know that safety legislation doesn't differentiate between contractors and workers. And so it's important to remember that the standard induction information that you give to every new employee that you engage also is required to be relayed to every contractor who works on site. And that's every individual conducting work. That's things like emergency and evacuation procedures, injury and hazard reporting processes, and housekeeping things like locations of toilets and approved places to park. Make it consistent by documenting what needs to be covered and create a sign-off to evidence that the information has been conveyed and been clearly understood. Your safety regulator has a clear expectation that this induction information is relayed to a person before they're working on site. In my experience, we're usually talking about a 5 to 10 minute induction process and something that typically should be refreshed annually. And that time adds up. It's your time. Plus your contractor is charging you for their time. So that adds up too. And this is where digital contractor management systems can save you money by saving you time. Digital systems automate the process so your contractors can complete their induction before they arrive at your business. And they can be completed on a mobile phone, a tablet, or a PC. Here's one from our contractor managed system. Our customers can build and modify their induction at any time using our great wizard. Multi-choice questions and checkbox sections can be added to test understanding and highlight critical information. And of course, any reminders for follow-ups on expired inductions or chasing up inductions that are yet to have been completed happen automatically in the background without any drag on your precious time. And so we're pretty good, right? We've got our register of contractors, we've got all those documents, we've got our induction happening, we've got a filing system sorted. We're compliant. Well, yes, that's true. And in the majority of businesses, this can be where the workplace safety aspect of contractor management stops. But I've listened to regulators in Melbourne, attended workshops in Sydney, and spoken to inspectors in Adelaide. And the message is consistent and it's clear. Reasonably practicable safety management of contractors goes further. And it goes to performing audit and verification of your system and of your contractors. Firstly, you need to test whether your system is working as it should be. Randomly spot check a contractor that you have working on site at least once a month to check that you've got the right business documentation on file, the individual has a current and completed induction, and that any license, permits or other documentation is current and in date. And keep a record of this to show that you're actively managing and checking on your contractor management. The second aspect is a little bit more tricky, but as a risk management practitioner, I can tell you that this is the most important thing that you can do in the realms of contractor management. And that is the audit and verification of your contractors' safe work practices. Quite simply, it's about pulling out that safety documentation that you procured from your contractors for the high-risk tasks that they'd be conducting, the ones with the greatest chance of things going wrong, and having a look at the work that's been conducted. Does it look like your contractor is doing what they said they would do? Are they wearing the right PPE? Have they barricaded off the areas like they said they would? Do they have the right equipment that they outlined in their procedures? Regulators are clear that it is reasonably practicable that you perform this important step and not just take your contractor's word for it. But this is also where this delicate balance lies. You're likely not an expert in rope belay systems, loads on cranes, or arc welding techniques, and regulators don't want you to be. That is your contractor's job, and that's why they're engaged. But you can sense check a document to see if it makes sense and if it applies to the area where the work is being conducted and the type of work that you've engaged the contractor for. And you can audit contractor works to verify that, to the extent of your existing knowledge, they are adhering to the safety procedures that they advised and documented to you. And of course, keep a record. You might be surprised to know that, despite its paramount importance from the risk management perspective, audit and verification functionality isn't typically something that you see within digital contractor management systems. But it is something that the Contractor-HQ team are proud to launch today as new functionality within our contractor managed system. Our Audit and Verify feature prompts the user to audit and verify contractor works on a monthly basis. Guides how this should be completed with clear questions and links to the documentation that you'll need to be reviewing. You can even add photos of the work to show what you've witnessed. Now, the final step I'd like to talk about in terms of best practice contractor management relates to the old adage, if you're not measuring it, you're not managing it. And that's establishing and regularly delivering reporting on contractor management compliance. Contractors are often conducting the highest risk works in or at your business. They're on your roof, they're in your confined spaces, they're working with your electrical distribution and supply systems. So it's natural that your executive and your board should be receiving reporting on how this work is being managed. And you should know the health of your contractor management system. Report on the percentage of contractors who have valid insurance certificates in place. Report on how many site inductions are being completed. Report on the validity of licenses and permits. Report on that best-in-class audit and verification that you are now completing each month. And digital systems should provide you an easy way to do this. Here you can see the Contractor Managed dashboard, which provides all this information in one easy-to-review screen. And this can be added into your existing safety reporting to give your stakeholders a clear snapshot of contractor management compliance. And in my experience, that gives you best practice workplace safety contractor management. And it's my suggestion that with this integrated approach to contractor management, you'll have an excellent system in place ensuring that your contractors are working safely, that you've conveyed all necessary information to them prior to them conducting work, and that you're covered with current licenses, permits, and insurances at any given time. And in a best case scenario, you're managing that with a digital solution that's saving you time and money. And I'm sure you may, like me, be pretty relieved to know that that is what Andrew and the team at the Intercontinental Melbourne did. Thanks. I appreciate your time tuning in to listen to my presentation. I hope you found some interesting information about best practice contractor management that you can build into your own workplace safety system. And of course, I'm available to answer any questions.